Hey everyone, I'm Wright, founder of Grapevine Workplace. In a lot of the videos that you see from me, I'm typically talking about product updates or product announcements or new things that we've implemented into our product. But today, I want to make this short and quick, but I want to walk you through how I actually leverage Grapevine Workplace because I think it's super important. I kind of look at myself, yes, we're a B2B SaaS company, but I kind of look at myself as an agency operator myself. And that's who we target, B2B service agencies, because there's a lot of toggle tasks. There's a lot of things that we do similar as we're trying to make our product and platform an actual company. So there's a lot of hands-on back and forth between our customers, how we operate, how we reach out. So let's go ahead and dive into this. First is my dashboard. It's my hub. It's the one thing that I go to make sure that I understand everything that I have going on for this week. So if I look at this, I can see that I have 23 overdue tasks. I have 0 due this week, which is surprising. And then I have 9 in progress, 0 in ready to review, and then 0 completed. Now it's only Tuesday, so give me a little bit of a break. But if I go in here, I can actually see what it is that I need to focus on. And if I wanted to get a little bit more granular, I could go to Figgy and I could simply type in tell me what I should focus on today, or I could give it the kind of ad lib or mad lib approach where it says, help me prioritize XYZ. The other thing that I have is my daily plan. So if I wanted to go more specific on instead of just the week, the actual daily plan that I need to focus on for today, I would come to this, my daily plan. I would hit generate like I am right now. And then what it's doing is it's analyzing every single thing in the system that is directly connected to you. And it's going to help you define specifically what you should focus on. So if we look at the task, we see that these are high priority elements. Some of them are low priority, but they can probably read this. So Nadia will be added to the Grapevine test. So that probably sounds pretty important. I know since I'm in this system all the time that that's not actually coming up until the beginning of July. So that's okay. And then we have these other elements that are coming in. And then you can see that the goals and the development plan didn't come in. So if I wanted to, I could actually come in here and click the specific ones that I need. Now, I just recently cleaned up the workspace. So I don't have any goals in here right now, and I don't have any active development plans. They're all archived. And so the other thing that I could do if I wanted to was leverage this and create my own focus blocks. And so if I click this, I'm not going to do this because I'm going to show you in a second what I've already blocked off today. But I could click on this and then it automatically goes into my calendar, right? So we'll go there in a second. But first, let's continue down this. I have my priorities this week. So these are the top high overdue. Now, some of this is overdue because I've been focusing on specific things that are moving the needle forward rather than some of these bug fixes. So that's okay as well. But then I have my this week. So this is my this week's schedule. So everything in here is something that I need to focus on. And so if this was a meeting with a client or a prospect or someone internal, then I could come in here straight from the dashboard and say, I want to prepare for this meeting coming up. And so let's say that I had a previous meeting. I could come in here and do whatever I needed to. I could click on this. Let's just say that I'm going to use this one right here. Let's say that I had some notes that are important for this conversation. And then maybe there's some, let's say, competitive analysis that we want to talk about. And then I can generate my preview or the agenda for the meetings coming up. And then as I go through here, I can click on should this be a task? Should this be a talking point? Or ignore it completely if it doesn't make sense, right? So I'm not going to muddy up the waters because I already have my specific talking points here, but you get the gist. Now, after the meeting, so if this had a Fathom recording, because that's what I use, and we integrate directly with Fathom. So you can see that there's an issue right there, but it's probably because this meeting hasn't happened. I can come in here, I can see the transcript, I can save it as a note, or I can generate from the transcript a note. And then after the meeting, that I can analyze what it is. So let's see if there's one in here. So these are all upcoming, so they're not going to be in here, but maybe I'll show you one if the video doesn't get too long. But now we have our this week's schedule. Then any action item that comes in from the meetings that happen this week, they're going to appear here and I can just see them as a reminder. They're going to pop off, or I could go to view all. Right. So now if we recap on this, we have our this week's to-dos, the priorities, the this week's schedule, the meeting action items. Then we have any comments and mentions. So it's going to be coming from notes. It's going to be coming from tables. It's going to be coming from projects. It's going to be coming from slides, all the things that are specific to you. And so you could either come in here, you can reply directly, or you can open the note, go to the comments, and go there. So another word for this section right here is really going to be like your main command center, right? And then the latest work that you've been working on, you can click in here, see if this is the one that you wanted, open it. You can see if there's some specific things in here, you can open it. You can just quickly take a glance at where this project stands, right? So this is where I start my day. And then if I want to get more granular, I'll do the specific daily plan. And then from there, I'll continue to check my emails periodically throughout the day. So we do integrate directly with Gmail. And I'm not editing any of this because I want you to be able to see what the actual truth is here, right? This is how Grapevine operates in a real functioning system, right? So you could see that it took a little bit of time to load, and that's okay in my situation, right? If it's not quick enough, you can always continue to use the email like Gmail. But what I would say is still connect it, because the system reads the emails that you have. The other thing that I do is I create tabs, or threads is what we call them, for every single customer that I'm working with. So if I came in here and I said T.O. Brown is the title of the thread, and then their email domain is tlbrown.com, and then the specific person that I'm working with at TL Brown is RJ Wright, right? And so now we have this. I'll close this out so you don't take his email. But yeah, you can pull in the emails, and everything that goes into this thread is, or everything that is coming from this domain, this specific set of emails, are going to show up in that thread. The other thing that we have is you can connect these to a specific workplace or workspace. That means that anything in this thread, like let's take this one as an example, Go Bananas. So if I go here and then I click on that thread, every single exchange that I've had with that person in that organization is going to show up here, right? So it's just a clean way for one, the AI in our system to be able to read and track that information, and two, for me to be able to go here and easily find it instead of having to navigate through all the emails that are coming through every day, right? Okay, so that's the email side of it, and it does connect. I should have mentioned that you can take anything inside of the email and turn it into a task or a to-do. Okay, so now what I want to show you is how I block my schedule. So in the meeting section, so I can either do it, let me move this down. I can either do it right here, and I can schedule my meetings, and then that's going to automatically turn into a block, or I can go to the meetings, and that's going to go into the calendar once it's booked too. But this is basically me booking myself a one-on-one and giving myself time blocks to do these specific things. And the good thing is that each time that it gets to another time block, I get a little pop-out message right here. And it just kind of triggers a reminder like, okay, let's go ahead and focus on this next thing now. So right now I'm doing building in public content, right? And so that's why I'm recording this video. And the next thing that I'll be doing is clearing out my inbox, right? So these are just a simple way that I'm able to put time blocks into the calendar, which also feeds into the next part of this, which is something new that I haven't even shared yet, is we now have a Grapevine scheduler. It's still in beta. So if you use it, um, it should be good by the time that I launch this video, but I can show you a little bit of what this looks like. So whenever you come in here and create a new booking link, then you can give it any title that you need. You can have as many booking links as you need. You can give the durations that you have, any buffer time. So typical Calendly, HubSpot, whatever tools are out there these days, it's going to work like that. You can give your specific availability. You can actually bring in intake questions too. You can choose which type of design. You can even give it a background. I'll show you the one that I've created already. Upload or pull from your company brand. And then you can give it a cover photo if you want to, and then a specific message. So if I go back here and I go into edit, you can see that I have this one set for meetings, video meetings. I'm already going to go ahead and assign it to Google Meet. I could use our own Google or Grapevine video conferencing tool that we have inside of Grapevine. And then I can give it a background like this. And so now everything's here. And then whenever I go to open the full page, this is what it will look like. So people will be able to come in here. Let's say that they click on Friday, they want to have a message. You can see it's kind of loading here to make sure that it blends in with what my schedule allows. So anything that's on the calendar, it's already going to go ahead and take away. So let's say that I want to meet with myself at 2:30. I gotta stop sharing. Well, just reach out to me if you want to connect. And then so now you can see like booking summary here. Let's just actually do this so we can see it in real time. So once that's confirmed, what will happen is you'll get this as the person who's signing up, and then you can add it to your calendar. So it's going to take you directly to your calendar. You can save it there. But then on the back end too, if I go over here, there's two things that's going to happen. So you're going to get the confirmation right here. So your meeting is confirmed. And then you, as the person who owns the meeting, you're going to see this come through, right? So you'll know that this is your meeting. It came through. Everything's working properly, right? Okay, so that's what we have. Then the other side of this is we have built-in analytics. So you can have total bookings 3, this month 3, cancellation 0%. So you're just able to basically see all the things that you need to. Okay, so let me just clean that up. Let's go now to meetings. And again, these are all things that I use in a daily basis on Grapevine. So every single thing, the dashboard, the emails, the calendar, the scheduler, the meetings are all things that I use on a daily basis currently. And so let's go to a previous one because I want to show you about the meetings. And then from the meetings, we can dive in. Hopefully Nadia doesn't mind me sharing this. But so after our meeting, I came in here, I created the notes from the transcript, which the meeting goes directly in here. So you don't have to go anywhere else. You have the AI summary here. And then I can actually look at the analysis. So this is conversation intelligence automatically into the system. So a lot of these things already are multiple tools that you have to piece together whenever you're working from an agency perspective or running a company as a founder. So if we look at this, right, it's going to break down. This meeting involved a discussion between Zach and Nadia regarding the potential implementation of Grapevine platform for Nadia's coaching business. They explored Nadia's current challenges and how Grapevine can improve. So that's just like a little snippet right there. And then you got like the top topics that we talked about. Consider how to better connect with Nadia's specific needs in the future conversations, which is 100% true, because the next conversation is a full-on demo on how to specifically help her business with Grapevine instead of tools like Notion or ClickUp, right? But you can see as you dive into here, so these are some of the decisions made. And so I can make this as a talking point. I've already done this for her, so I won't go into more detail here, but open questions to ask. What specific features will Nadia find most important during the trial? How will Nadia evaluate her integration experience? Like, these are certain things that you might not think about as a salesperson, or especially someone, I'm myself. A lot of people talk about engineers not being good salespeople. Operations people are not great salespeople either, at least for myself. And then you can say, like, key insights here. Nadia is looking for a single platform to eliminate tool bloat. That's exactly what we do for companies like hers, right? And now I could save this, which I already have whenever it ran before. And so there's that. Now, if I wanted to get a full breakdown, which I do often, of all the things that I have in my scope of work for the meetings that I've had, then I can go in here to the detailed view. And so I can filter out through completed calls. And so I can see the ones that have Fathom summaries and transcripts. I can see the ones that are still processing, which those are probably broken. So we would have to go back in there. I can see the ones that were rescheduled. So none of them have been rescheduled. I can see the ones that are canceled. None of them I can see the ones that are scheduled, and then I can just see all. Now, if I wanted just the specifics, I can go in here and see, okay, here's the summary of this conversation. Here's the full on transcript. And now, whenever you think about Grapevine, the specific thing that is important for Grapevine is that the data lives inside of Grapevine. Because if I came here and I said to Figgy AI, which is our AI assistant, I would say, can you give me a recap of my meeting with Nadia and help me prepare the demo for the next call on July 6th. And so what that's going to do, unless it messes up, which we're still a startup, it could possibly, what that's going to do is it's going to work on that, and it's going to take this information from the notes, the recording, the intelligence, the summaries, the notes that were here, and just anything that is related to that. And it's going to come in here and it's going to show me this. So you saw how quick that was. So explore Grapevine consolidation, pain point solution, prepare, highlight integration capabilities, demonstrate use cases, access specific pain points. So now if I wanted to, I could copy this and then I could just bring this into the meeting, right? So if I go back over here and then I go to notes, I could go into edit and I could come in here and do that, right? Or I could simply just come in here. Now this is going to be a long one, but I could come in here and that could be a full-on talking point, right? So it's really up to you how you want to do that, but that's an example, and the importance of the data being in here. Okay, so those are kind of the way that I interact with customers, prospects, like managing my own self. And then the other things that come in here are task. So that's going to be projects. So for me, the way that I manage this is I'm managing sprints on what to develop and how to develop this whenever it comes to improvement of the product or executing on our product roadmap, right? So I turn those into sprints, and then you can see here, all these are completed. I can have different views if I wanted to, but 100% completion here, same thing here. I know that I have a couple of things here that I need to focus on. And if I wanted the list view, I could come in here, see the difference between to-dos and done. Same thing over here. But at the top level in a project folder, you have every single thing that you need to see. And if I wanted to go into just sprint 5, I can see that I've done 14. I have 6 in progress, and 6, these are 43 days overdue. So I got some work to do, right? Maybe I shouldn't be recording this video. Now, then I also keep track of my bugs and fixes. So the way that I'll do this is anything that comes up, that I find whenever I'm going through Grapevine and I experience an error, or anything that I experience from the customer feedback, is when I will go through here and I'll set those times. Okay. Now, the other thing that we recently added here, now I'm going to do the CRM example because it's not real people and I don't want to give people's uh, information away. But let me go back here. The thing that I do, and I even started this one today, but the thing that I do is I'll go here, you click the CRM pipeline, and then you can give it a name, and then that ultimately turns into this table, right? Let me go ahead and delete these so it looks cleaner. And so what you have here is your pipelines automatically calculated, your closed ones automatically calculated, win loss, average deal, all that. And as I continue to add to these, it'll automatically do that. Now, the other way that I leverage CRMs is I can go in here and I can bulk email. Right now, I can send it through my Gmail if I have that integrated, or I can send it through Grapevine. And if I wanted to, I can come in here and I can type in these details, and then I can give it the email body. I can choose who I BCC if I want to tag in my account manager or my SDR or my CRO if you're using this as a company. And then you can choose who it's going to go to, right? And so you want to make sure that it's yourself, most likely. Um, or if it's like a distro list that you want people, like maybe this is your newsletter list and you want to send it through bulk email, you want those replies, if there are replies, to come back to that specific spot, right? Now, the other thing that's unique about this is we have all the elements, or the files, the notes, the knowledge space, the tables, the projects, workspaces, even, that are already in the system, and we can share it as a link right here. Now, they have to have access. You have to have the proper permissions. They can request access, but if you want them to actually see it, you'd have to get the right um, information there. Now, the other thing is you can attach a file, right? So that comes in there like you would think. So that's how I go about this. And then the last thing that I'll say on the, or the last few things that I'll say about the CRM and the way that I use it is, so if I go in here and I click this open, I can set a reminder. And let's say that I need to reach out to this person, follow up for verbal commitment, right? And so now that I have this save reminder, I can see that it's in here. Whenever that pops up, it's going to send me a notification that this specific that this reminder is ready and I should take action on it, right? And so once this is ready, then I can click done, and now you're good. But it tracks everything too. So it tracks your emails, it tracks your activities, all the things that you need to track as a CRM are there. The other way that you can do this is you have your kind of like your HubSpot approach to a dashboard or a Kanban board, and then you have your actual um, automatic, like none of this is set up. So overview is automatic, RevOps is automatically there, sales is automatically there, marketing is automatically there. Now you do have the opportunity to build your own dashboards, but honestly, overview, RevOps, sales, and marketing do a really good job at this. And instead of having to click elsewhere and just see where things are, so for example, I think I saw it in sales. So like Horizon Health. Now this is made up data, but it says like the close date was 6/10. So we're definitely behind schedule. I can click here and see what the email history is, what the details are, so on and so forth, without having to navigate elsewhere. So I can click here, and then if I wanted to, I can just start going through these and seeing all the activities, right? So I've set this up in a way where you don't have to navigate so many different places. Okay, so that's how I use the CRM system. For prospecting leads, I literally just take a CRM table, and then I go, actually, there's no emails here, so you should be fine. So these are the names that I prospected today. And so I go through these and I list out the information that I need. And for example, if I go, like, let's say that I have a couple of things. I know that there's one in here. Yeah, right here. So let's say that I have a couple of things that are related to this specific prospect that I want to remember. I can just click in here and see it. But we do have other elements too. So if I go in here to the notes and I click the add, so one, I'm going to go ahead and click through those quickly because I don't want you to see those emails, but I can go in here and add like even a meeting, right? So if I wanted to do like fill the reservoir, and so then I go here and then I click on this, it can show me the specific things of that meeting, right? Again, data is king here. So everything that is in this system is going to be important for the workplace intelligent piece that makes us truly unique to others. All right. Now, the other things that I do are I leverage notes. And so notes are documents, right? So if I click in here, this is my standard operating procedure for daily actions that I just started this week. And so on in the morning, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., the main things that I focus on are blast outreach scripts, right? So I'm trying to reach as many people as possible, 150 highly targeted leads. I'm using LinkedIn for that. I'm using Apollo.io for that. And then I'm using Grapevine for that, which you saw with the prospecting CRM. Then I'm building the public and building a public content, which is kind of like this, but this is also kind of like a tutorial of Grapevine as a whole. And so, yeah, basically what I'm doing is I'm using this. We have tabs that we go in here. If you wanted to, you can have even more nested tabs, and then you can just have as many tabs as possible. Now, the other way that I leverage this is if I turn this into a specific public page, then I can share that with anybody, kind of like the way that you would share a Notion public page. That's how this is going to work too. And some of the other things is I just want to have a clear mind whenever I'm working on something. So I just simply collapse this and then I collapse the notes on the side too. And so then that just gives me more space to work with. And a couple of other things that I'll end on the notes, because notes are kind of self-explanatory, but you can take whatever it is that you're building and you can turn it into a full-on template. Now you can choose to turn just the main page into a template, or you can turn everything. So the main page, the tabs, the sub pages within the tabs, you can give it a category, and then that leads into the template section. So if I go here and I create from template, I can have these predefined templates, or the ones that you choose are going to come in here as your template. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is the contracts, right? So if I go over here to miscellaneous, I know that there's one that I always go to because I have contracts on it. So if I go here, I hit that contract button, and then I have my information here. I have somebody else's information here. Let me just close these out. See, hopefully I'll block these off, but um, that's our first customer. They're pretty open, so that's okay. But I have the entire information for the contract here. Now you can use this for proposals. You can use this for invoices. You can use this for just tracking if it's paid or not. And so now we have this, we have the items that we come in here. You can add an item. It's going to, once you add it, you'll go down here to the bottom, you give it the name, the price, so on and so forth. It's going to automatically calculate for you. And then you can have the signing of people. So if you're using DocuSign or PandaDoc or whatever other tools are out there, you don't need to anymore. You have that here. And then the last piece here is you can actually request payment. So based off of your proposal, you just hit generate this. The amount is going to be $1,800 for this one, right? And so you would simply just open that and it's going to take you directly to the Stripe checkout, right? And so whenever you're doing this, the way that you would go about this, so if I put this email back in here, just for like, you can save your customers. So let me just put this back in here. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll back down. Then you get a preview of what it is that the customer is going to see. So this one has a lot of detail in it because I'm just using a note and giving you for the example. And then you can send it. So at the top, you have who it's going to go to. You can add more customers. You want to make sure that you hit this so it actually goes there. When you send, they're going to get that email, right? You can generate it as a PDF. And then also the way that they'll see it is this. So whenever they send this, they get the email, they open up the link, it's going to automatically go to the contract fields. They're going to scroll down here. They're going to see what it is. They can pay now. They can download that. And if it wasn't already signed, they would be able to sign it right there. So that's another way that I use it for. And that's why I say like we're kind of like an agency operations, because we do that with our customers. We do it kind of like a concierge approach as we're continuing to scale up. Um, Now, some of the other things that I'll use here are our slide decks. And so if I wanted to, I could come in here. I'll just click one. Like let's say that this is the sales pitch. And so once I click on the sales pitch, you can come in here and you can fully edit everything. And we do have live data. That's the real uniqueness here. So like you would click through here. You have the live data inside of here, right? And if you wanted to, you could just refresh this data, and then it's going to give you that accurate um, slide information at all times. And then just like any other thing, you can present it. You can click through it. I'm not sure if you're able to see this, but you can click through it. You can see it, right? So that's what we have here. Um, we do have other templates as well. So if you wanted something a little bit nicer, more cleaned up, we have all these different things here, and they'll actually pull in real data too. So if I go here to our product roadmap, we don't really have a product roadmap fully yet, but if I came in here, you can see that the feature launch is in progress. And then if we go here, um, yeah, so some of these are real, some of these are not, but you have the ability to create slide decks here. And then now, okay, that's kind of the big way that I use Grapevine right now. The other way that I do this is I have a Grapevine workspace that just introduces Grapevine. And so if I want to, what I'll do is I'll share this with anyone. Maybe it's in an outreach campaign. Maybe it's in just a follow up where somebody wants to learn a little bit more about Grapevine. They can come in here. They get the intro to Grapevine. So they get this intro to Grapevine breakdown in the notes. And this is actually what client portals would look like too. So I do use this for client portals as well. So one of the ones that I have here is, and I've used it in the past, so hopefully they don't mind me using it again, is the one that we have with Magnetic. And so what they use and what I use to operate with clients is this workspace. And so the cool part of this is you have your portal and you can bring in everything. You can actually create your onboarding checklist here. You can attach the documents that they need. And what you'll see is if I click off of this one, you'll see like all team members, 0 out of 1 completed. I just come in here. Now I'm keeping track of how progressive we are making or how much progress we're making with the client, right? Now, if they had any requests or forms, they could come in here. Like maybe there's a issue, so maybe it's a bug. They can put in their information. They can give this, or they can simply just come in here and send a message in the email or in the chat that we have here. And the way that that works for us internally is you have a client section right here. So if I go here and I say testing, right? I send this over. You can see not seen yet. And then you can see that one notification right here. And then boom, they're able to come in here and they'll say fire, got it, boom. And then any files that are sent through, you can save them to the workspace, which will show up in files here, right? So everything is literally in one place, right? And then even just in case you're thinking like, oh, well, my customer isn't going to open up this portal and just have it on their workspace at all times. Well, that's why we have the emails that come through too, right? So everybody involved in that message chain will get that email. Okay. And so if I go back here, we have forms that are right here. So if I fill out this form, this is just to get early access to Grapevine, right? For this specific portal. So I use it as almost like a lead generator, almost as like a here's everything that you need to know about Grapevine. And I think I'm going to actually put this video inside of it too. I'll speed it up. But the other parts that are unique about our own portal is that we have AI, or we have updates that are generated through AI. So if I go over here and I generate an update, this is where that email thread becomes important and all the other data that you have. So you can make it external and you can do a client report right here. And so let's go ahead and generate an update because it's been a little bit. And that's going to take emails, forms, files, tables, everything that you see here, and it's going to produce that update. Not just an overarching update, but an update from the last time that I ran the update. So you can actually see this is so what has changed since this, right? So Grapevine Workplace CRM table with 4 rows added, right? Highlights, strategic validation, improved positioning, ongoing. These are things that have been updated. Now I could send this as an email, or I can just leave it in here and it's going to show up in this system. So let me just see what was going on there. I might have to do something to fix that. But if I go over here and then we go right here. So let me just hard refresh. I'll do it over here too. But we'll get that fixed. But basically what happens is that is going to go into the update section, right? So there's something going on here that I'll have to fix. But you can see it comes in right here, right? Just to show you. So CRM with 4 rows. Okay. So now we have that. And it shows up here because it was external. Nothing internal should show up in here. So if you're creating anything for your internal team, it's going to only go to you and the team. All right. So now we have literally everything in here that you could think about, right? So let's also go to the uniqueness of AI agents. So, or the AI jobs within the workspace. So if I come here, I can see that we have just a summarized workspace status, right? So it's similar to updates, but it's a little bit more specific. And then we actually have automated reports that you can go through with your specific team. And so you can actually generate executive briefs, stakeholder updates, team sprint reviews, customer reports. All right. So that's the workspaces. And then just the other simple things that we do is file management. And so we have file management here. The uniqueness in ours is that we have the analytics within our specific file section. So you can see that these look like they're the same. I'm not going to do this one on this one where you can merge them together because they might be different. They might just have the same name, but let's use it for these because these are only images, so it should be fine. So I'm going to do this: merge smart files, automatically merge duplicate versions, combine tags and collaborators, keeps newest version. So all they got to do there is apply that. Now those 3 duplications have just been simplified, and you just also gained space back into your file management system, right? And so the other things that you can do is, let's say that these are orphan files, meaning that they don't have a tag. So let's just call these miscellaneous, right? So I'm going to add this. I'm going to apply the tags. Now they all have the miscellaneous tag. And so it's doing, I don't know how many it had there, but it's taking its time. It's doing its thing. So 22 files were just now tagged. And so if I go back here and I go to tags and I go to, let's see. Oh. So I might have to refresh it. Give me a second. And all these things that you see in the bugs, these are where that bug fix project goes into play. And so, all right, here we go. So now let's see. Yep, here we go. And so now we should see all these with miscellaneous, right? Now, the other thing that we have that is unique is, so if we wanted to do this, we could go here and then private only to me. And so I'm going to create this smart collection. I got to give it a name. So we'll just do that. So whenever you create the smart collection, what it does is it automatically takes those tags or whatever you filtered it by, and it puts it into this specific folder. So again, let me see, we got a little bit of an issue here, but I'm going to keep this in because we're building as we go, right? And so let's just go back here. So now all they are here. So maybe sometimes it just takes a little bit of a second. But now we have these in here, and if I wanted to, I could see it a little bit differently, just like this. I can click into them, I can see it, I can open them wider if I needed to, so on and so forth. So that's how I use Grapevine. And just to kind of like bring it full circle, I know this is already a long video, but the key thing is I have everything that I need to focus on right here. I have my emails, my calendar, my scheduler, my meetings, my projects or tasks, my tables, which I use as my CRM, content creation, prospect leads, tracking. I have notes where I'm kind of like brain dumping certain things or coming up with new campaign ideas or videos or working on the business, slides for whenever it comes to specific business meetings, forms, for either lead generation or for putting it in a workspace and having people update that. Another one is for client intake that I didn't talk about. Then I have Figgy, which is our AI agent. So you think of like ChatGPT, um, different things like Gemini, different things like that. Um, and so that's mainly how I'm using Grapevine. Um, and with the workspaces, the files, and then as I'm going through the system, anything that I need to find quickly, I just quickly open this. Like maybe I want my meeting link, so I just go here and then I see my meeting link. Maybe I want to pin that. So now I pin that for the next time that I see it. I copy it, I share it, and then now it's up here for the next time I do that. The other thing is it's tracking your activity. So you can see the last thing that I did was the meeting with Nadia. And then I have my to-dos here. And then Q is where the system actually works for you. So if I go over here to my queue, this is where the system is going to be analyzing what you are focused on, what you have on your plate, and it's going to run through these specific things that you have. And as you go through that, it's going to go ahead and run these as a draft and even create bundles for you, right? So triage package for the meeting with Nadia. So this was 3 days ago, but run the full length Fathom recording, or review it. Here's the notes here, and I can save that as a note, or I could just simply approve it and we're good to go. But it breaks down like any emails that were created, and you can kind of see like these, the reviewed today, reviewing this week, just different things like that. And you get to choose what you want the system to focus on. So yeah, I know this was a longer video, but it's about time that I made this video because I continue to talk about Grapevine Workplace, the pivot that we've done, and how I use Grapevine every day, but I haven't actually shown you all the elements, right? So this is the raw, ugly version. I'm gonna put together probably like a demo version and some individual clips on specific elements. Like some of the things that we didn't even talk about was our AI agents that I also use pretty much every day. Just to hit on it real quick is it's kind of like Cloud Code in a sense, but you can come in here. We have specific agents. So Millie Marketing is for marketing. So she's kind of like your marketing agent or your marketing specialist. And so you can come in here, you can give her specific instructions, the type of tone, output preferences, the things to avoid, examples of good. You can actually bring in specific things from the system or from your Google Drive or files in files. And then you can give it skills. And so if you're giving it a skills name, you can come in here, you can upload again from those different things. But it's just a clearer way to go about that. Whenever you're running these, it'll come in here either as planned or draft, planned, or done. And so whenever something is done, let's say that we did a workflow, the workflow comes out where you can see it as it's being worked on, and you can click on into the individuals. You can click into the full picture. Whenever you get into that full picture, you can actually turn it into an actual a full-on workspace like I showed you before, or you can get the consolidated output, which is going to have your report here on the breakdown of whatever the task was. You can have the data table that might come into play here. And then you can have even the email draft that comes out. That looks pretty good so far, right? And so this is how we're doing a lot of this stuff. Um, but yeah, okay, I'll stop talking because I didn't even get to the workflows. That'll be a different thing. I'm going to start making videos that are going to be breaking down every single thing. So in the comments, if you're a B2B service agency operator, owner, or somebody who's just managing a lot of projects and customers, contracts at the same time, and you're tired of going back and forth or trying to integrate this through a Zapier integration, or just something's not meeting or matching up to par, reach out to me. But then also drop in the comments, what are some of the specific things here that you want to see more of? And I can dive in deeper detail. I know some people are going to say AI agents, but come from like your real source of pain. Like tell me something that you haven't been able to accomplish in a software out there that claims to be an agency operating system or a workplace operating system, and I'll try to make that video for you. All right, thanks so much for watching this. I know that's a super long video, raw, uncut, unedited, but thanks for being here, and let me know if there's anything else that you want to see or anything that you want to see in the system that isn't there right now. If we can do it, we'll throw it into our roadmap. If we can't do it, I'll tell you that we can't do it. But thanks so much for watching and supporting this channel and Grapevine Workplace. All right, see you on the next one.